Shalom, brothers and sisters, shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. This presentation, brothers and sisters, brought to you from Danitepublications on the channel, More Yeshaya, Hebrew Lessons. Brothers and sisters, is dedicated toward two reasons. One, we want to bring the knowledge of Hebrew to the people. Two, brothers and sisters, we want to announce the future regarding the matter of the said Hebrew classes and said presentations. This, brothers and sisters, will be the last public presentation that is for free. That is to say, brothers and sisters, the presentations after this, for those who are interested, brothers and sisters, will be with a price, and by that, $20 an hour, regardless of the amount of people within said class. The requirements for such brothers and sisters will be, one will have to get the Hebrew books, Hebrew's Easy, volume 1 through volume 6, for those who are interested in that. So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, we do want to get into this. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. So let us get started in this manner. Thank you. As you see there is the Hebrew alphabet. What we are going to do, brothers and sisters, is take down that particular matter for purposes of clarity and being able to see. I started showing with my picture, but I took that off, brothers and sisters. Reason being is because I rather the brothers and sisters, the elders and so forth, they who are interested to rather watch it, the presentation itself in this particular manner. Brothers and sisters, welcome to More Yeshaya, Hebrew Lessons. We know that this may seem like an odd time to have such a presentation, be it 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. But due to a situation, and it's not a bad one, be it 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, a brother is going to be dealing with personal but not bad matters later. And on a sidebar, I wanted to do this today. Not that we glorify the deceased, but today would have been the memorial of my father. He would have been turning into, say, another age in this particular matter. May he rest in peace. I, in part, named as author the history books that I wrote in honor of my father. Most times people who hear a brother speak, I usually speak upon and say my mother, and this is not to put one parent against the other or anything of that sort. But at the same token, I did come from two parents. So in looking into this, brothers and sisters, giving honor to the Most High, the Creator of heaven and earth, this presentation is dedicated to people who care to learn about the Hebrew language. We do not profess to know everything and are open to constructive criticism. We hope everyone is well and will be better. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Now, what you are seeing there, brothers and sisters, is different styles of writing of Hebrew as time went on, brothers and sisters. So what we want to point out, and looking at this, we're going to show this, if we will, with the laser pointer. You have what's called the Ahiram inscription, the Yah-Himelik inscription, Samaria, Ivories, Gezer calendar, which we're going to show, Moabite stone, Killer Muwa inscription, Samaria Astraka, Shema seal, Bar Wakab inscription, Shalom inscription, which we're going to show later, Nerastella, the Pharaoh letter, Lachish Ashtaka, which we're going to show later, Jewish seals, Messner papyrus, Leviticus fragments, Elephantine papyri, and Eshmunazar sarcophagus. So those different things, brothers and sisters, is what we understand as Hebrew as time went along as far as writing goes. There were different writing styles in Hebrew as in, brothers and sisters, any other language on this earth. And in light of that, we do want to present this for those who are interested, not for controversial matters, not for debate matters, or anything of that sort, but rather, brothers and sisters, again, for those who are interested. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Now, what can we, brothers and sisters, gather from this right here is this. When you look these different things up, you still see the Aleph, the Bet, the Gemel, and it's going all the way through 18 different forms of writing within a set amount of little over 1,000 or so years. So the style of writing does not, for those who have understanding of it, change the meaning of what is being expressed. All right. Now we're going to, in this, brothers and sisters, expound upon and explain where people start to speak about what is referred to as, quote, Paleo-Hebrew. The word paleo we're going to define. So I'm asking you all, brothers and sisters, within less than 10 minutes of starting, to get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes. All right. Now, as you see the words that's going across on the bottom of it, it says, and I'm going to read it, Shalom, my brother, Yirmiyahu. It goes to say this: the last free public Hebrew class, Yeshaya, Y-E-S-H-I-A-H, 908-587-4841. Care to donate? ? Cash App, $ Frank Son 1, F-R-A-N-K-S-S-O-N, the number 1. However, we prefer you buy the book that is in the description. Get something for your hard-earned money. I honestly rather people go on Amazon and buy the books that a brother has written, as opposed to saying, here's something in your Cash App, or so forth and so on, for two reasons. One, it does help with the sales, I'm not going to lie. And two, or should I say 1A of the matter, you get something for the money that you worked for. You understand? It's not just, okay, give me donations, have a good day, like some people may do online, donations, and so forth. No. Give something to the people, as the rap group EPMD stated. All right? Just want to point that out. So, brothers and sisters, this is what we're going over right here. Shows different forms of writing Hebrew over the course of over a century. Now, some of the letters look alike, but based upon where the fragment or so was found, it was named in this particular manner. We're going to show, brothers and sisters, pictures and artifacts of the people who would be responsible for writing this. All right? So let us continue in this particular manner. Thank you for that. A short matter about vowels. In English, the vowels are incorporated in the alphabet itself. Now, the vowels in English are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. However, though the Hebrew of the Bible does not have written vowels, there are vowels. A vowel is a sound that is written. We want to, brothers and sisters, emphasize on that particular matter. All right? A vowel is a sound that is written. In order, as we will show in this presentation, to have a prefix, suffix, and conjugation, there must be sounds. Remembering that a vowel is a sound that is written. So you may have a music note, and that is an indication on paper or so to know what key to press, say, on the piano. That is sound written on a sheet of paper that the artist, the piano player or so is playing. So is it the same with vowels? You understand? Hebrew, we're going to show, is related to other languages that even sometimes is still spoken to this day, such as Amharic, such as Aramaic, such as Arabic. And you will see that those languages, when written, don't per se have a vowel written form. So people would read something by saying, like Bernhard Anderson wrote a book called Understanding the Old Testament, and I happen to have had a copy of it. And in it, it said the Hebrew language was consonants, vowels were added later. Anytime a person is speaking a language, and by a person we mean any human being, he or she is going to speak before one can read. Once we remember that a vowel is a sound that is written, we know and understand, brothers and sisters, a 3-year-old may not know how to read, but by the age of 3, this particular person knows how to speak. Most of us have learned Hebrew be over the age of 10. So we usually learn how to read first and then learn how to write and then thus speak. Whereas if you take someone learning any language, Hebrew or otherwise, a particular language, he or she doesn't learn how to read it first. He or she doesn't learn how to write it first. He or she is speaking based upon what he or she hears already from the womb, from birth. Thus, we know English the way that we do, while there are still people, no disrespect intended, that are illiterate and cannot read or write English, but yet he or she knows how to speak. So, brothers and sisters, these are things we care to point out for reference purposes. So, if I can be heard well, and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well, and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you. Now, let's look at this, brothers and sisters, right? The kolam is a vowel, brothers and sisters, that is over the letter, all right? Sometimes you will find it to where the kolam, right, is over the vowel, which is next to the letter. Now, in grammatia, which is basically a form of Hebrew in which people are saying each letter represents a particular number, this vowel called the kolam shows that to not always come out to the same equivalency. That is to say, you can have the word shalom with or without the vowel shown there with the kolam. You can just have it next to the lamed and over the mem sophi, and it's still making the same sounding word. You understand? So that is something we care to point out for reference purposes. All right. Now, brothers and sisters, and looking at this, let's continue. All right. Thank you all for the time. You can be anywhere, and I know it's a Wednesday, and people are still at work, people are still in school, people are still doing their cooking, but those who care to join live is definitely appreciated. All right, so let's look, brothers and sisters, in this manner here, right, with the highlighter. We have here called the shawah. What happens with the shawah, as pointed out, brothers and sisters, in the book Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1, which the description is in, which link to that book is inside the description, sorry, right? We see that this shawah is placed underneath the letter. When you see that, you basically make the sound of whatever the letter is. You will never see a shawah next to the first and second letter of any Hebrew word. You may see it with the second and the third. You may see it with the first and the third, but never with the first and the second. All right. So just want to point that out for reference purposes. All right. So let's continue in this. The next one we see here is called a segol. The segol makes the sound, as in the word, brothers and sisters, melech. The word melech meaning king. Okay? So again, this is something we care to point out for reference purposes. All right? Sometimes when speaking upon Hebrew, this vowel, all right, and we're going to color code it just for reference purposes, right? And this vowel, while speaking Hebrew very, very fast or so, is interchanged. But that doesn't mean that one doesn't know what one is saying. All right. So here we have in the green, zere. Zere makes the A sound, as in the Hebrew word elek. Elek means I will go. Now, these vowels that you see, the shawah, segol, and zere, go underneath the letter. All right. Just want to point that out. In certain instances, you might find the shawah inside of a letter. That's only basically dealing with what you call the kasofit. All right, which we'll expound upon when we get into that. So hopefully, if there's any questions, please feel free to type it into the chat. Next, we see here, brothers and sisters, called the patak, which is the most commonly used sound, and it makes the ah sound. In making, brothers and sisters, this particular sound right here, the patak, as in atah, which means you, as in shalak, which means literally he sent. All right. So these are things we care to point out for reference purposes. Now, the same and similar sounding, we see, brothers and sisters, all right, with this one here being circled called the quamats. You might see this in words like ata, meaning now, as in N-O-W now. All right, in this particular manner. All right. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it within the chat. All right. My number, for those interested, I can be reached currently, like in other words, in real time, 908-587-4841. Thank you for that. All right. Here we see, brothers and sisters, the one called the shuruk, which makes the oo sound. Now, you, brothers and sisters, might see the kibbutz, both of them making the oo sound. The distinction is this, all right? I want to erase it and show it in a better format, if we will, right? It being color-coded. The kibbutz, brothers and sisters, if we will, goes underneath the letter, all right? So whereas the shuruk, like that of the kolam, with the vowel use that is, goes, brothers and sisters, next to the letter. All right. So let us continue in this particular matter. Again, any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. I'm going to go upon it with this kataf segol, kataf patak, kataf kwamat. Now, what these right here being circled as you see there, brothers and sisters, is referred to as the same sound as that which is above it, as the kwamas, the patak, and the segol. Segol making the eh sound as in melek, as in king, in the English, right? Oh, and then you have, or in the translation, let me say it like that. Then you have this one right here. They're saying is basically short sounds. One commonly used word is e'ese, which means literally in Hebrew, I will do. All right. So just want to, brothers and sisters, point that out for reference purposes. Any questions or comments, please, again, feel free to type it into the chat. All right. So let me expound upon this, if we will. Erase this. Go with the pen, right? And I want to go with the pen in black, if I may. What I'm going to check goes underneath the letters. Okay, my checks don't look too good, but essentially, let me try that again, just for clarity purposes, family. Thank you for being with me. Check, make it a little bit more readable, if we will. Check. Check, 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 check. I didn't forget this one. Give me a second. Check, check, check. All of them, the shawah, segol, zere, patak, kwamat, kibbutz, kataf segol, kirik, kataf patak, kataf kwamat, all go underneath the letter. All right. The kolam goes on the vowel and have the dot above, or the letter itself with the dot above. The shuruk has it to where it's inside the vowel. All right, so hopefully that's understood. If there's any questions concerning that, please let it be known. All right, so let's erase this and let us circle this kirik, if we will. Kirik, brothers and sisters, makes the E sound, as in ta'asi. Ta'asi means you will do when you're speaking to a female. All right, so again, this is something we care to point out for reference purposes. Let us get into this and going to conclude eventually, but this is going to be quite of a lesson. This is not a short lesson. I'm not even going to sit there and exaggerate like it is. All righty. Again, I can be reached at 908-587-4841. 908-587-4841. All right. Let's continue, family. Thank you. Hebrew from Solomon's time. Now, brothers and sisters, do you remember, right? And you're free to take screenshots of the stuff here that's being presented. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4 because I can't hear me the way I got it set up and everything like that. And I'm trying to make sure that the hearing is still well. Thank you all for that. All righty. So let's look. I asked that because sometimes people on channels, they rather somebody tell them that, oh, the sound quality is not as best. Don't tell me that 15 minutes after a person done started speaking. Let me know that as soon as possible, please. All right. So now let's look at this here. Hebrew from Solomon's time. Now remember, brothers and sisters, when we went over Gezer, which is, brothers and sisters, we want to circle where that's at, if we will, right? With the pen. I want to make it a pen a different color. All right. Gezer. This is number 4 on it. Gezer calendar, brothers and sisters, dates to the time of Solomon, king of Israel. So we just want to collaborate. Like we said, we're going to talk about this. Hebrew from Solomon's time. Now, let's look. Brothers and sisters, you have the ket here. Resh here, Yod here, Kaf here, Lamed here. Let's go into this. Stay tuned for the presentation on November 3rd, which, Creator willing, will be on the channel, Mordeh Yeshaya History Lessons, and that is going to be 2 days from now, so-called Friday night. Brothers and sisters, regarding the story of Solomon, part 4. All right, I am open to constructive criticism. Let me know, brothers and sisters, how you're hearing it, how you're feeling it, what you think, what to improve on, and so forth and so on. All righty, let us, brothers and sisters, continue in this manner. Thank you. Hebrew from Jeremiah's time. Now, brothers and sisters, this here is referred to as part of the Lachish letters. These people here being circled come from Lachish. These are males, by the way, and you can tell by their zakwan. The word zakwan means beard. All right. Something we want to point out is that even when Israel sadly was going into captivity, they were still dressing in their garments. You understand? The garments that the Israelite males wore, called robes or so forth, a beged or a garment, didn't start at the waistline. It started from the shoulders and went down in many, many cases. All right. So these are things we care to point out for reference purposes. Now, the people who wore garments similar to this that started at a waistline would be the females. All right. Called a simla or a skirt. All right. So just want to point that out. Any questions concerning that? Please let it be known. Now, what we're saying here, brothers and sisters, right, is Hebrew from the timing of Jeremiah the prophet. Lachish is mentioned in the book of Joshua as well, brothers, Joshua 15, if I stand to be corrected, as well as Jeremiah 34. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out. Any questions? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Now, that was, you might say, an intro. Bara. There's two reasons why we want to go into this. Bara, the Hebrew word meaning in roots, he created. Let's go into this, brothers and sisters. Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take notes. Bara. This word is bara. This is a lamed aleph verb in that it ends in the letter aleph. Now let's highlight the letter aleph so we can sit there and see what we're talking about for reference purposes. Here's aleph here, and here's aleph in this case, which happens to be the first letter, but in verbs, when it ends with the letter aleph, brothers and sisters, it is referred to as a lamed aleph verb. The word in root means he created. All verbs, regardless of stem, have its root in the third person masculine singular. Third person masculine singular. What are we talking about? First person is I. Second person is you, whether male or female. Third person masculine is he. Third person feminine is she. So we want to emphasize that bara means itself, literally, he created. This word is libro. This word literally means to create. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to ask you all, if you will, to remember, we want to show with a pen here. All right, in this particular case, sorry about that, right? With the pen here in a different color, let me say. We want to remember this letter right here. This letter that you see there just being circled is the letter lamed. All right, with this being the case, I want to show this in as much maybe real time as possible. Thank you all for that. All right. And I want to, brothers and sisters, take this, if I may, and show it. Let me see this way, right? Thank you for that, family. It's not allowing me to, so what I'm going to do is do the best that I can and bold it. Then go back here to the slideshow. So let's look, brothers and sisters. This letter lamed, thank you for the time, right, is bold. We want to emphasize that for a reason. When you see, for instance, the word here, bara, we want to show with the laser pointer, means in root he created. Libro means to create. Let's remember that. So let's look at these words here on the right side. Barati, I created. Ebra, I will create. Bara, create. You're telling one to create. Now this is coming from the book of Isaiah in the Bible. And it says this. Thus saith God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretched them forth, he that spread forth the earth. And that was coming out of it. Ko amar ha'el yod wahe, bore hashamayim, wanotehem rokwa ha'aretz. What do we want to point out, brothers and sisters, is this word here, bore hashamayim. Created or creator of Hashamayim, or the heavens, and stretched them forth. Wanotehem Rokwa Haaretz, and spread forth the earth. And as the verse goes, and that which cometh out of it. There's only one that did that. That's the Most High God. So brothers and sisters, in looking at this, Barati means I created. That's said by a male or a female. All right. We have also, brothers and sisters, Ebra, I will create. That is said by a male or a female. And here we have bara, meaning create. This is when you're telling one to create when speaking to a male. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. So here we have bara. Here we have libro. That B and R sound continues. That B and R sound. B and R. Sorry about that. B and R. So that way B and R, bet and resh. Bet and resh. But remember, because this ends in an aleph as shown here, we're going to show this, if you will, with the laser pointer. Thank you for that. This may seem meticulous, but there's a reason why we're doing this as such. All right. Bara. He created. Bara. So let the book speak. Thus saith God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretched them forth. Get your like if you care to put it into the chat. Thank you for that. Let's continue. Because again, there's two reasons why we're going over that meticulously. And God created the great sea monsters. This goes into saying this here with the laser pointer. We want to show, sorry, with the highlighter. All right. Wayibra Elohim et hataninim hagdolim. You still see this word bara here. We've gone over, brothers and sisters, on Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons about the matter of the wild consecutive. That is when you make a future tense into the past and a past tense into the future. All right. We've gone over that in more than one matter. So that's what we see right here. And God created. Not created God. Like there's a creator outside of God. No, such is not the case. All right. So in Genesis chapter 1, we see that God created the great sea monsters. Wayibra Elohim. Now let's point this out as well, brothers and sisters. All right. We see here the English word God. We see here the Hebrew word Elohim. Now, no disrespect, while getting your Hebrew grammar on and understanding it, there are those that might say, well, Elohim is plural, so it should say gods, but such is not the case. We're going to go over Hebrew grammar in this particular presentation. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will feel better. All right. So I thank you all for participating, joining in. It is definitely welcomed. Okay, let's continue in this. It goes on, brothers and sisters, to say this. Wayibra Elohim et ha'adam b'zalmo. And God created man in his own image. Male and female created he them. Zakar unkoiba bara otam. Now this is coming too, brothers and sisters, from the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 5 in particular. So let's expound upon this with the laser pointer. All right. Again, this is not, I'm not going to prelude this by saying, this is going to, we hope it's not intended to be long. There's 40 slides, brothers and sisters. This is not going to be a short presentation. So we ask you, if you have the patience, the time, whether you watch it now, whether you go away and watch it later, please press like, please leave a comment. All right. Thank you for that. Goes on to say, brothers and sisters, and God created man in his own image. So let's look, family, right? Highlighter. God here, Elohim here. Bara in roots. Bara in roots. And here we see bara. Bara, we want to emphasize, as we pointed out in the rules of Hebrew here, right? With the laser pointer, thank you for that, family. All verbs, regardless of stem, have its root in a third person masculine singular. So now, what we're seeing in third person, all right, brothers and sisters, is he. So it's not they. So the Elohim, though many may say, oh, okay, that means basically God's pluralized. No, because the verb and the noun, the adjective and the noun must agree in gender as well as in number. That's how we know Elohim, Wayibra, means and he created. Who is he that did the creating? Elohim. It's not and he created God. It's God he created, to make it make sense in English. All right. So this is something that we care to point out for reference purposes. I'm being asked, so Baraka, how do this become blessing? Okay, the word Barak. Thank you for the question. Bara and Barak are two different words. All right, so now we have, say, a Baraka is the bet, the resh, and the kaf. The word Berek itself is a body part meaning one's knee, Knee. So now when we say Barak, that literally is a verb meaning to kneel. Now when we say, brothers and sisters, the matter of Baraka meaning blessing, because in Hebraic thought, by kneeling, by making obeisance is how one's blessing comes. All right, so I do thank you for the question. Hopefully that did answer it. Any more questions or comments? Again, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. All right. So let us continue, brothers and sisters, in this. Isaiah 54:16 and Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals, that bloweth the fire of coals. What do we want to point out with the laser pointer, brothers and sisters? Anoki barati karash no peak beish pekam. What does Anoki mean, brothers and sisters? Anoki means I or I am. Now, this is also used by people saying I or I am as well. All right, just for edification purposes. Barati. Where did we see Barati before? We saw it right here, brothers and sisters, if we will, right? Barati, I created. So now when we go back here, brothers and sisters, in the book of Isaiah, it says, I have created, behold, I have created. The reason why we might see there the word behold is because in Hebrew, when you see something like Anoki Barati, when you're using the pronouns, even though the verb being conjugated has it as Barati by itself means I created. Anoki Barati is emphasizing on who is the creation of, or the creator, sorry, of this particular matter. Behold, I, or you might say I, even I, have created the smith that bloweth the fire of coals. So don't think that anything is beyond the Most High's ability. The Most High created the smith that bloweth the fire on the coals. Nobody else can claim that. So let's continue, brothers and sisters. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1. But now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob. Now, let's go back here if we will. All right. And let's look. Erase that. Go back here with the laser pointer. Wa'atako amar yorewahe bora'aka ya'ako. So here we see again, we want to show with the laser pointer. Right here, Bet Resh Aleph. Now with the highlighter, the Bet Resh Aleph. Now I'm going to, brothers and sisters, circle this Kaf Sophie. All right, and try to show this, if I may, in as much real time as possible. All right, I would like to just show it in that manner from current slide. And then we can go back here if we will. Thank you all for that. That right there, brothers and sisters, Bo-Ra'ah, Boreh, your creator, Bra'aka. When you have this particular matter of the ka, and it is attached to a matter of a noun being a person, place, or thing, correct? When it is attached in that particular case, brothers and sisters, that ka represents your. When the ka is attached to a verb, it represents you. So remembering, brothers and sisters, that in root, bara means he created, and the infinitive or the direct way to say to create is, brothers and sisters, libro, as we pointed out earlier. We, brothers and sisters, care to, with showing the laser pointer, right? Bora'aka, this ka representing you. This bora'ah, brothers and sisters, in this manner is saying one that did the creation. So essentially it's saying your creator. Here, created has it as a verb, but the Hebrew we want to point out is that. All right, any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you for that. And he that formed thee, O Israel, Wayo Zeraka Yisrael. So, brothers and sisters, let's look with the pen. This ka, right? So let me show it more direct. Sorry about that. All right. Like this ka here serves as a suffix. When this is a suffix, brothers and sisters, attached to a verb, it means you. When the same suffix is attached to a noun, it means your. Y-O-U-R. All right, any questions or comments concerning that? Please feel free to type it into the chat. For acts now, for the days past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth. Now here is the key point in part, or one of the reasons why we went over this matter here. Because there's a sick teaching, and I don't mean to shame no one, but the Most High is to be given his honor. There is a sick teaching saying that Bereshit bara Elohim means in the beginning he created God, as if the God is not the creator that Genesis is emphasizing on. So let's let the book speak for itself, brothers and sisters, with the laser pointer. Kisha Alna, for acts now, please. For acts and petition, please acts. Le Yamim Rishonim, for the days of past, or from the first days. Asher Hayu Lefaneka, which were before you. Lamin Hayom, from even when, or from, or to, from, or where from, in this case, in other words, when it happened, Hayom, the day, or the time. Asher bara Elohim Adam. So let's stop right there, brothers and sisters, and let's look, right? Bara Elohim Adam. What does that mean, brothers and sisters? Bara, we already emphasized, means what? He created. Elohim, brothers and sisters, means what? God. Adam means mortal or man. So what are we reading? When it says in Genesis, God created the heavens and the earth, and God made man, we still see that same word that we've been going over. All right, brothers and sisters, we want to show it in a highlighter with a different color, if we will. Right? Bara. Created. Who created man? Elohim. Now, even though it sounds in most cases as plural, what this im sound, and you get the Elohim, you get the im sound in this particular matter here. I'm going to erase the ink on the side. All right, and show what they refer to when they go over a matter of parsing Kirik Yod Mem. We went over the Kirik vowel already earlier, correct? Okay, granted. So let's go on. Im in most cases means pluralization of something, but that's not always the case. Talim means you will disappear, but that's not a plural word. Mayim means water or waters. So what are we saying? It is the immensity of that object that you hear the im in that particular case. All right. Betulim means what? Virginity. You see that in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22. So betulim means virginity, and betulah means virgin, and betulot means virgins. You understand? So you have all of those different matters, brothers and sisters, showing that it doesn't make it plural all the time. Any questions about that? Please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. Thank you for that. Let us continue in this, brothers and sisters. Genesis 2, verse 4. These are the generations of the heaven and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made earth and heaven. Now in the Hebrew, let's go over it as so. And we want to go over it with the highlighter. All right. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth. Generations. Let's look at that. And let's look at there. Toldot. Hashemayim wa ha'aretz, the heavens and the earth. Behib bara'am. Brothers and sisters, we still see that bet, that ration, and aleph. We still see that word bara in there. So what does that mem so feet afterwards stand for, brothers and sisters, for reference purposes being circled in the red? All right, is a suffix. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. Bayom asot yorewahe Elohim eretz wahashamayim. So Genesis chapter 2, verse 4 lets us know that it's the Most High that created the heavens and the earth. So as it says in the book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 39, Yohewahe, hu ha Elohim. Let it not be mistaken that Elohim is Yohewahe. But Reshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, God created. Now let's look at that too, brothers and sisters. And God spoke all these words, saying in the book of Exodus chapter 20, Waidaber Elohim et kol hadbarim ha'eleh. And Elohim said, Anoki Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, I am Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. So let us not think that there is a pantheon of gods in the heavens and that Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh answers to the Most High. That is a theory that some people have come up with, misunderstanding, as pointed out on Maria Shia Torah lessons. Subscribe to the channel, please. Deuteronomy chapter 32. Getting into the Hebrew of that some months ago. So brothers and sisters, when we say this is the last public Hebrew free presentation, the ones after this will be for private sessions for those paying and things of that nature. It's not about the dollar, but a brother, not to be funny or anything like that, for over 5 years in different congregations in different states on different platforms have been doing Hebrew classes for free. Going from the very beginning, Aleph, Bet, all the way to the Hitpael stems and the coming together of pronouns and verbs. In the third person, feminine plural, which is some of the longest words in Hebrew. So with all of that there, let's not conclude the presentations, but conclude the free online ones. All right, so just want to point that out for reference purposes. Thank you for that, family. Now, that mem, we want to show this, if we will, with as much matter of live. All right, let's see if I can this time show it. And it let me this time. All righty, from the current slide. Let's look at that. You see the thing, the memso feet there, and this becomes very important in this. And behind it is the drop screen or the drop color also of the green. That mem that you see there, bold, enlarged, and has the green with it, means them, or in this translation here, they were created. Brothers and sisters, this bet serves as a prefix. Now, I want to, if I may, let's do this, brothers and sisters. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat, if we will. All right. So let's look here, right? If I can, and it let me, cool, with that. And we want to show this one, if we may, enlarged. All right. There's a reason why our brother's doing this. Thank you for bearing with me with this. You see that hay there with the yellow in the backdrop, right? If you see that well, let me know, brothers and sisters. I see it well on mine. Let me know how you all are seeing it, please. The letters in between the enlarged letters, the hay and the memso feet, what do we see there? What letters are those? That bet, that resh, that aleph, that we've been speaking upon for maybe a good 20 minutes. Bara. Stop teaching Genesis 1 verse 1 incorrectly. We're going to let other scriptures prove what we've been saying about the Most High being the only creator. There is no pantheon. There is no Ennead. There is no council that Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh speaks to, brothers and sisters. And those who profess to be Hebrew teachers, no disrespect intended to anyone, sometimes have gotten a platform, and people sadly are believing the teachings, misunderstandings of that kind of ideology, which does not hold weight when you get right down into it, brothers and sisters. Any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you. Thank you for that, family, brothers and sisters. So we begin to see who the creator is in Hebraic thought. Let's continue. The verb must always agree with its subject in number and gender. In Hebrew of the Bible, the word order was verb, pronoun, object, noun, subject, noun, object. Example, the king gave me the book. Now, in this, using the oldest Hebrew we currently have, being biblical Hebrew, right? What do we see here, brothers and sisters? If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you all for doing that, brothers and sisters. In Hebrew of the Bible, the word order was verb, pronoun, object, noun, subject, noun, object. So let's look. The king, you want to show with the highlighter, right? That is pronoun object. Gave, verb. Me, noun subject. The book, noun object. Any questions concerning that, please let me know. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. Let's look at the Hebrew. Natali hamelech hasefer. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters, right? We're going to erase what's upon there, right? And we want to color code this, if we will, right? Natan, verb. Then let's change the color so that way it can be seen for what we're attempting to portray or present. Pronoun object. Li, which means to me, oneself. Blue here, noun subject. Hamelech, meaning the king. And then we see, brothers and sisters, here, noun object, hasefer. Natali hamelech hasefer. Any questions concerning this? Please feel free to type it into the chat. All right? That is how they spoke in most cases. It may not make sense in English to literally say, he gave to me, the king, the book. It makes more sense in English to say, the king gave me the book. Hebrew literally says, Natan he gave, Li to me, Hamelech the king, the book hasefer. He gave to me, the king, the book. But that doesn't make sense in English, but it does in Hebrew. So that's why when we read in All You're Getting, Get Understanding, these are things, brothers and sisters, that we are talking about for reference purposes. All right, any questions? Please feel free, type it into the chat. Now, I'm asking you all to subscribe, comment, like, share. Why do we who go online ask people to subscribe? It makes the channel stronger. I'm not going to lie. Why do we who go online ask people to like? Because the more likes that a video gets, the more YouTube itself pushes it to others who doesn't want respectful exposure. There's a difference between respectful exposure and attention. And this is not to be self-centered. This is why a brother is okay not showing one's face. Look at the presentation. Let me know what you think. Give me constructive criticism. Teach me, because I'm teachable, on how to make the presentation better. So thank you for that, brothers and sisters. All right? Let's continue. Sapar, Safar, and Shama. So let's look, brothers and sisters. We want to emphasize with the laser pointer that this P and this F, right? And we want to show with the pen, this P and this F are interchangeable in linguistics. Just as much as later on, F and S was interchangeable. Just as in certain cases, sh or SH and S was interchangeable. Case in point, in the Bible, right, in Judges chapter 12, it talks about the people with Shibboleth and Siboleth. So that just go to show you that the SH and the S depends upon one's ability to speak is interchangeable. That doesn't work with every single letter, though, in each alphabet, which we want to address. Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take notes. Thank you. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. Sefer means book. Sapar or Safar, the root meaning to count, to relate, to tell. Mispar means number. So if mispar means number, that's a what? A verb or a noun. That's a noun. So with that being a noun, brothers and sisters, right? What did we say before about a noun that happens to have, brothers and sisters, we want to point out this letter, that ka. That ka. Just take the word mispar and put that ka as a suffix. Mispar means number. So mispar ka means your number. Do you see how easy Hebrew is? Most times, certainly in camps and other cases, you may hear ma, meaning what? Shalom ka. Shalom means peace. Shalom ka, your peace. This is how easy Hebrew is. It is not difficult. Please subscribe. It is different, but not difficult. So mispar, meaning that, we want to point out, brothers and sisters. Here we have, brothers and sisters, showing with the laser pointer, tisapir, you will tell or she will tell. What are we pointing out right there? Any questions or comments? To tell is a verb. That's an action. So with the highlighter, we want to use a different color, if we will, right? Tisapir, that towel. So with the shawah, we went over the matter of the shawah earlier, means you will tell or she will tell. Now, brothers and sisters, all right, I want to show this with as much live time as possible, if I may, right? Oh, that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to bold this, all right? And if we can, get that behind it, good, that worked. And enlarge that. So let's go back here to the slideshow and this. Now, let's look, brothers and sisters. Tisapir means you will tell or she will tell. Now, this you, all right? Now, as pointed out before on Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, whether it's something stated or whether it's something written, it just holds the same amount of importance. All right? That towel signifies the you, second person masculine, and it signifies the she, third person feminine, both singular in dealing with verbs. So if I were to say to a male, tidabir, that means you will speak. The same word means she will speak. If I say to a male, tokal, that means you will eat. The same word tokal means she will eat. And you find that in the book of Genesis chapter 3. All right. So these are things we can point out for reference purposes. Then we have here, safra na, please tell. Now, in Hebrew, there is a way to make an appellation with the verb itself. Zakra, remember, please. Sham'a or shim'a, hear, please. Safra, hagidda, please tell. That's how that works in that manner. So, brothers and sisters, these are things we care to point out for reference purposes. Any questions or comments? Again, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you. This is all Mora Yeshaya Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons and Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons. All right, subscribe to the channel, whichever one you're watching it on. So let's look. Laser pointer. Shema means report. Shemua means report. Shama and root means to hear. Literally means he heard. Shim'a li, hearken to me. Tishma, you will hear or she will hear. So brothers and sisters, let's go back here. All right. And what do we want to point out again? We want to enlarge that, if we will. If can. Thank you. Okay, let's do it like this, please. I'm gonna settle for it just being bolded, and let's see if we can get good. All right, so let's go back here, current slide. Now, what you see there, okay, with the green on the right-hand side, that tile, which we see here in the English as T, right? Here signifies you, second person masculine, and she. All right? So, Tishma means she will hear. Tishma means also you will hear. So when we start talking about first person, second person, third person, masculine, feminine, plural, and singular, these are things in grammar we care to point out for reference purposes. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. Danitepublications.com. All right, that's the website. You can go to it, see more videos, and so on. One student. All right, so let's look at this with the laser pointer with the time allotted. Again, this is not intended to be a short presentation. Thank you for the timing that you all are spending with us at Danite Publications. It is appreciated whether you're doing it now and or later. All right, let's continue, brothers and sisters, in this case. It says this, if we will, right? One student, Talmid Echad. That M signifies masculine or male. One student, Talmidah Akat. Two students, Shnei Talmidim. Two students, feminine. Shetei Talmidot. Two automatically is plural, more than one. All right, so you just want to point that out. The matter of I have and I do not have. I have a horse. I have a mare. I don't have a horse. I don't have a mare. So I left it the way that you see it like that on purpose. All right? And the reason is this. I wanted to, in real time, type the English transliteration. Yesh li sus. Yesh li susa. Now, let's go back here with the time allotted. All right. And I did that to type it in on purpose and what referred to in many cases as real time. I have a mare. A mare is a female horse. All right. So let's look. Laser pointer. I have a horse. Yesh li sus. Yesh means there is. Li means to me. In Hebrew, all right, there is no specific way to say for the verb have or to have. In Spanish, it's tener. Yo tengo, I have, in Spanish. In Hebrew, there is no set verb word for to have. So we want to point that out, okay? So what happens is one says there is to me, yesh li. So now when we go in Exodus 20 to gain Hebrew vocabulary, which is in Hebrew is Easy Volume 5 for those interested, right? You shall not have any other gods. Lo yihye laka, it shall not be to you. Hayali means I had. Yeshli means I have. Yishetli means I will have. So now, this li means to me or for me, as pointed out in Hebrews Easy Volume 2, which you can get online. All right? The link inside the description. I have a horse. Yeshli sus. I have a mare, which is a female horse. Yeshli susa. So brothers and sisters, as pointed out, whether it's stated or written in, it holds the same importance. So we ask you to get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes. A male or female can say this. There is no male way to say I have. Yeshli is said by males. Yeshli is said by females. Whether the object that you're talking about, in this case being a horse, is a male horse or a female horse, is identified, brothers and sisters, all right? Remember, Hebrew's easy by this part here. Hint, want to learn Hebrew vocabulary? Learn the words in Hebrew that you say all the time in English. Whatever your regular conversation is in English, learn its Hebrew translation. And your Hebrew vocabulary will pick up. All right? So, if you are a planter, the way to say to plant is nata. The way you say a plant is musad. The way you say to grow is zamak. The way you say green, like greenery for vegetables, is yoruquot. The way you say dirt is likluk. The way you say farmer is ikar. See, those words will go quickly to a person into that kind of life. If you are a painter, you into dealing with different paintings and so forth and so on. You may want to learn your colors. Edom is red. Shakor is black. Laban is white. Tekelet is light blue. Kakol is like dark blue. Argaman means purple. So these are Laban being white, Shakor being black. So these are things that might impress one more so because this is what you're into already. You understand? This is no slander to no one, brothers or sisters, my relatives who are males. Yo, how you say she look good? So I sat there and expounded upon how would you say to a female, excuse me, miss, you look attractive. That's what they asked me, so I answered their question. You understand? Now, no disrespect to family, when I was asked, yo, how you say such and such, no. There's no F word, there's no N word, there's no S word in this particular language. It is Lashon HaKodesh, the holy tongue. So certain words that are deemed as profane do not exist in the holy language. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out for reference purposes. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Now, let's look, brothers and sisters. We're going to erase this, all right? And all right, let's look. Erase that. Erase that. I don't have a horse. Said as this. Ainli sus. I don't have a mare. Again, a mare is a female horse. Ainli susa. So when we go back here, brothers and sisters, right? Again, what we're saying and seeing on the right-hand side can be said by either a male or a female. All right? This can be said by a male or a female. What you're talking about, in this case being a male horse, is sus. How do we know how to make this horse a female horse? Is not, don't take this the wrong way by trying to change its genitals, but rather by saying the way to say a female horse is susa. So you have the vowel there, giving you that ah sound. And then we have our friend here that I like to call the thumb of the Hebrew alphabet, right? This letter here. We're going to emphasize on that letter as time goes on in this presentation. Again, this is not intended to be a short presentation. All right? Questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. So let's continue. All right, we may come back to this particular one on purpose. Let's look. The matter of et, dabar et. Now, I remember as a child questioning, when do we say et? Ani roe, ani rose, I want, I see, or I see, I want, ani roe, I see, ani rose, I want. But let's see when we use the word et. A direct object is a noun or pronoun which indicates the thing or person to which the verb is directed. Any questions on that? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Let's look at this. I write a book. I write the book. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters, right? Laser pointer. I write a book. I write the book. Now, the way I set this up, I wanted to show this in as much real time as possible, right? Ani kotabe sefer, right? And here we have ani kotabe et hase fear. So I'm going to drop this for the moment, pull up a matter here. Let's see in this case here. All right. This is where I copy some of my stuff once it comes down to getting into the Hebrew and things of that nature. All right. So let's look with the time allotted, thanking you all for participating and so forth and so on. All right. Thank you for that, family. As this pulls up, it says, Ani kotabe sefer. I write a book. Let's see if my translation off the top of my head is right. Or I am writing a book. Okay. I write a book, I'm writing a book. Same matter. So we're going to look at this, brothers and sisters, right? Search the web for it. When we see it, copy, paste it, right? Copy. Then we go back here, if we will. Thank you for that, right? And we will put it right here, brothers and sisters, so you can see how this works in this particular case. Then we're going to go here. See, that's how easy Hebrew is. It's not difficult. Different, yes. Difficult, absolutely not. Now, I chose, being a male, to say it as a male would say, ani koteb. A female would say, ani kotebet. So whether you're saying, speaking as a male, ani koteb, I write, or I am writing, or you're saying as a female, ani kotebet, meaning I write or I am writing, sefer remains the same. Questions or comments concerning that? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Questions or comments concerning that? Please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. Here we see, brothers and sisters, all right, I write the book. So let's pull this up again, if we will. All right. I want to take that off. Go and look at this here. Ani kotabe et with this. And let's see if my translation off the top of my head is right. I am writing the book. So we're going to copy this here, search for it on the web, copy, paste, or should I say copy from here, go back here to the PowerPoint, brothers and sisters, and paste this right here in what we see. Ah, that one didn't work in that manner. Let's go back and do this again. Thank you for the time, family. Right? Ani koteb et hasefer. I wanted to show this with as much real time as possible. as opposed to just looking everything that's already pre-done. And I get that maybe from the matter of cooking, like, okay, now you mix this together and see how it works. All right, in this particular manner. Anikotep et hasefer. Now, if this was a woman speaking, you would still say Anikotep et hasefer. That does not change in that case. All right, et. Let's look at this, brothers and sisters. All right, from the current slide. Place before the direct object. And the matter here, the direct object is the words, the sentence, which is supposed to say the book. Sorry. Only human. All right. Et, also placed before the direct object, which is the name of a person or place. I met Sarai, which is the name of my lady. I'm going to leave this here, take a short intermission. When it's uploaded, take the time and make it congeal together. Read this here. Get this book here. This is Ima Shoshana's book, which I must say is better than the books that I wrote because she puts it all in one book, what I divided into different books. Copy that down. Sholevy, SHOLEVI@AOL.com. Email her for serious inquiries only on how to get that book. It's worth your time and money. I promise you, I have no reason to lie. Authors respect authors. So I'm going to take an intermission. Be back within the next 5 minutes. Please stay tuned. Look at this here. Contact the lady if you're interested in getting the book. Shalom. We'll be right back, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, family. That concludes the intermission. Hopefully, people look this book up. So you want to learn Hebrew, a guide to speaking, reading, and understanding the language. This book here inspired me to write my Hebrew book, written by a woman I respect as a mother figure, and as she teaches, female parent in Hebrew is Horah, female teacher is Morah. This book stands out as one of the best learning the basics in advanced Hebrew, from pronouns to verbs and conjugations. What do we mean by conjugations? We'll expound upon that in this. She knew my mom as well. May my mother rest in peace. This book is available only by contacting the author by the above email, sholevi@aol.com. Serious inquiries only. Thank you. All right. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Most definitely appreciated, brothers and sisters. Thank you for that. How's everybody feeling? Hopefully everybody is well and will be better. And we are going to continue in this manner, brothers and sisters. Shalom, my lady. Shalom, Sarai. Shalom, Yirmiyahu. Shalom, brothers and sisters, to those who are in the chat, and so forth and so on. We again hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. What do we want to say concerning this kind of matter, brothers and sisters, too, is nobody knows everything. Be open, be teachable. Take advice, brothers and sisters, because you're not doing it for you. You're doing it to reach out to the people of the Most High God. All right. So these are things we care to point out. For those who just joined on, this is on Mordeh Yeshaya history, pardon me, Mordeh Yeshaya Torah lessons and Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. This is the last public free presentation concerning this, as expounded upon inside of the description. Thank you for that, family. All right, let's continue. Notes and vocabulary. The adjective follows the noun. It is modifying. The adjective must agree in number and gender of the noun it modifies. There are 2 genders in Hebrew, masculine and feminine. So there is no binary, what you woke up and decided to want to be today. No, the way you're born, when you was inside your own mother's womb, is the gender you be in Hebraic thought for the rest of your life. And this is not to get sidetracked, brothers and sisters. There are benefits to being a male. There are benefits to being a female. A benefit to being a male is and this is no knock on the opposite gender or the other gender of females. Thinking not so much with, say, emotion. I had a mother, I have sisters, I have a daughter, I have a lady, so I'm not misogynist. You will find, brothers and sisters, that is a benefit in being a male, to be able to maybe reason things a little bit different. Whereas a benefit to being a female is being able to understand things a little bit different. Reasoning and understanding, both is needed in order for growth. You understand? A man wants to provide. A woman looks, and this is in general speaking, this is not trying to say I'm a psychiatrist or something of that sort. Women look for a sense of security. Men look for a sense of warmth. So in Hebraic thought, when you were born a certain gender, but then saying you want to be a different one, that's not applicable, because you were not made for that. And it doesn't make one better than the other. If anything, we know one, quote, don't take this the wrong way, but Zarek is in need of the other. You understand? So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out for reference purposes. The adjective follows the noun, it is modifying. What is an adjective? It describes the noun. A noun is a person, place, a thing. So these are some nouns that we could go over that I'm going to state. Didn't type it in, but go over, if we will. Sorry about that. That's an email saying that I have books that are overdue. Understood. Now, looking at this, we have it to where, take the word ish. The word ish means man, right? Ish tov, a good man. Ish ra, a bad man. Ish mutab, a better man. Ish ra yoter, a worse man. Ish zadik, a righteous man. Ish resha, a wicked man. Ish tahor, a clean man. Ish tameh, an unclean man. Now, if we were to say that with the word Isha, we say this. Isha Toba, a good woman. Isha Ra'ah, a bad woman. Isha Metuba, a better woman. Isha Ra'ah Yoteret, a worse woman. Making it feminine, brothers and sisters, in that manner. All right. Isha Zadikwa, which is a common name among Israelite sisters, Zadikwa, a righteous woman. Isha Rasha, or Isha Rish'ah, a wicked woman. Isha Tahora, a clean woman. Isha Tame'ah, an unclean woman. So we see, brothers and sisters, essentially, with this, you essentially just add the I sound to make it feminine. Now, that doesn't work all the time, and there are names that sound feminine but are for males, i.e., example, Yahuda, transliterated as Judah, but we know Judah was a male. So these are just things we care to point out for reference purposes. All right? Next part. Let us explain. Get your books and pens. There are essentially 7 verb stems in Hebrew. Dikwal, the simple active. Denif'al, the simple passive. PL, the intensive active. Pu'al, the intensive passive. Hifil, the active causative. Hofal, sometimes said as huf'al, the passive causative. The hipa'el, the reflexive. What we're going to do right now, brothers and sisters, is take out the time and expound on these 7 stems with the time allotted. Again, this is not, and I say this in no disrespect, intended to be, please don't take this the wrong way, a short presentation. All right? This is why we started at the time that we started, and this is why we're going over the matters and the things in which we are going over. Okay? Are there any questions or comments concerning this particular matter? Please let it be known inside of the chat. The channels we on, Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. I can see the comments in both. I can't hear me, but I can see what's typed in. Okay? So you have the word abad. And we're going to show this with as much real time as possible, right? Abad. Ne'ebad. Me'abed. Ubad. He'ebid. abad. Hit abed. Now let's look at this, brothers and sisters, and expound upon what we're talking about when we say these stems that we've been talking for quite some time, if we will. Abad means to work, also means to serve en root. Ne'ebad means to be worked. Me'abed, brothers and sisters, means essentially to work, or to work intensified, to really essentially go in and working, if you will. Ubad means the same thing, but just something that's truthfully and being pressured, you might say, in working. When we speak about its intensity, He'ebid, brothers and sisters, means, some people say means to enslave. That means to cause one to work. Ha'abad would mean then to be caused to work. Ani ha'abati ba'aboda. I was made to work at the job. That root he'ebid, you will find that in the portion of Jeremiah 17. And I will cause you to serve your enemies, or work for your enemies. Hitabed, they generally in Hebrew try to say is not, quote, an actually used word, but knowing how Hebrew verbs work, that would mean it's reflexive, means you work for yourself. The things in the work that you're doing profits you, or you're working on yourself. So this is what we mean when we're saying the active, passive, intensive active, intensive passive. Active causative, meaning one causes something to happen. The hopeful, passive causative, something that is being caused to happen, in this case, working. Like if I were to use my pen, that would be the hopeful stem in that case. My pen is being caused to work. I am causing it, and the pen is being caused to work, if that makes sense, all right? And the reflexive, essentially meaning to do for oneself, the reflexive. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you. Let us continue, brothers and sisters, with the time allotted. Why conjugation is important? What is conjugation that we said we're going to talk about, right? Conjugation is when you make something into the past tense, the present tense, or the future tense. That's very important. Let's continue with this. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Israel, stop listening to people on Facebook, and I say this in no disrespect, who if you were to ask them for, and it's not that you on there as a beggar, that if you were to ask them for $1, they will sit there and say, get a job application. Them the same kind of people that tell you that you can't keep Sabbath. Yes, you can. You mean to tell me that you can't stop working? But what the culture of Israel, the culture of Israel shows, brothers and sisters, and you're saying, Dora, that hitabed can be translated as entrepreneur. Yeah, so if you are an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself. One can say, ani mitabed, I am an entrepreneur, I'm working for self. Hitabati, I was an entrepreneur, or I worked for self. Ani et abed means I will work for self, I will be an entrepreneur. Yes, thank you for that, my brother. Shalom, Dora. How you doing, Aki? Don't let these people, brothers and sisters, tell you that you can't keep the Sabbath. Anyone who teaches that has the mentality and the mindset of an enslaver. You understand? Let's continue, family. It goes on to say here, all right, laser pointer. Zakor, remember, from the root word zakor, et yom ha-shabbat. Now remember, brothers and sisters, we went over, right, the word et, right? We went over this word et before, and it shows a definite article. right? Highlighter et. And we see that same word shown in Exodus chapter 20. This is how we want to bring Hebrew to reality. You know, it's not far-fetched. Oh, they know it. You can know it too. Learn the vocabulary you use all the time, and your vocabulary will increase. Most of us, I'm assuming, I know they say you shouldn't assume, have children. When your child is walking and fall, they get right back up. Adults, if you make a mistake, get right back up and start. Like they said in the song, I think it was over 20 years ago, dust the shoulder off and try again. Don't worry about making a mistake. Hebrew is not a matter of keeping the commandments. However, knowing the commandments in Hebrew does make one more accountable. You understand? It's not a commandment that says thou shalt learn Hebrew. But we do know and understand that when we lost our land, culture, we also lost our language. So we want to get back into it and so forth and so on. And again, learn the vocabulary you use all the time. Your vocabulary will increase. All right? So let's look. Zakor et. We want to point out that word et again. Why do we want to point out et there, as you just pointed out, for definite article? It shows you that the Shabbat does not rotate. It's the Shabbat, not a Sabbath, not a Shabbat, but Zakor et Yom Ha Shabbat, a specific matter. This Ha stands for the, not just a Sabbath. Like we went over earlier. Let's show this. Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take notes, brothers and sisters, right? I write the book. Anikote et hasefer. And here we don't see et. I write a book. So that et in Exodus chapter 20 shows us that the Shabbat is a specific matter. It is not something that just goes all over the time frame. So there is no lunar Sabbath, not to get sidetracked from this, on a simple matter of saying that the first Sabbath was 3 days after the moon was created in the book of Genesis. The sun, the moon, and the stars was created on the third day, on the fourth day. 3 days after the creation of the sun, moon, and stars was the first Sabbath. Lunar identifies of the moon. So how can Sabbath, being 3 days in creation after the moon, be determined by the moon? Easy, because people don't want to keep the Shabbat. That's why. This is not to get sidetracked from the subject, but we want to emphasize that matter, brothers and sisters, because there's never a time to not speak on the commandments. Zakor et Yom HaShabbat lekwacho, to keep it holy. We're going to emphasize this lamed, right? Let's go way back in this. All right, let's go way back. Right? Remember, brothers and sisters, this here that's being circled, that lamed, that was bold. Remember that, brothers and sisters? Literally to create. That lamed signifies 2 or 4 when it serves as a prefix. This is why we want to emphasize these things for reference purposes. Questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you. Questions or comments? Yes, do subscribe. Please feel free to type it into the... No, see, this we're not doing. This is not, we're not doing this here. This cannot be presented. I'm sorry. LOL, but seriously, no, I gotta erase this. This don't look right. If I don't like it, I can't present it. It reminds me when I used to, sidebar, get my hair braided, and my relative or whoever, even my older sister, most respect to her, Yakina, if you're listening, much respect. Even getting my hair braided, if the lady didn't like it, they wouldn't even sit there and let you see it. You can't walk outside looking at that. This has got my name on it kind of thing. So no, that had to be erased or for reference purposes. All right. So just want to put that there in that particular manner, if we will. All right. So let's look at this, pardon me, in that particular manner. And I say this in no disrespect, brothers and sisters, I'm an author. And sometimes people will ask you if they can promote your book. And that's cool, and I appreciate that. But one of the best ways to promote a brother's book or my lady's book, being a sister's book, is buy it yourself. And then you can sit there and speak on it verbatim. Not just say, hey, I'm a promoter, and I'm here to sit there and promote some book that you didn't even perhaps read yet. You want to support somebody's book and promoting? Buy it. So that way you can speak on it firsthand. So those couple of bings that you heard, I had to block that person because I'm not going back and forth about that. But let's get back into this, if we will, brothers and sisters, in this manner, right? Here we see, brothers and sisters, about that et. And we went over the lamed matter, showing where the word two comes from, meaning T-O, not T-O-O, that's gam. Not T-W-O, that's shnayim, meaning two, the number. So shnayim is two as in a number. Gam is two as in also, or T-O-O. T-O is a prefix in Hebrew with the letter lamed that we see right here. All right? So that's what we want to point out in that case. Quadsho. That O signifies it. Quadash, meaning holy. The word Shabbat means cease or rest. All right? And you shall return to the Lord thy God. Washabta ad yodewahe Eloheka. Now let's look at this, erase all of this if we will, right? And let's look what happens when conjugation doesn't exist. You have Shin Bet Tal, Shabbat. Then you have here Shin Bet Tal. Now I want to not go sidebar, but let's look at this, brothers and sisters, highlighted. This hey serves as a prefix. This wow serves as a prefix. But what you see there in the yellow, and we want to show this if we can, all right, with as much real time as possible, right? Let's look. Here, let's bold that, if we will, brothers and sisters. It's allowing me, I hope. And then let us back color drop that in yellow, the whole thing, if we can. Then we have here Shin Bet Tal. And we're going to not bold it, but we're going to, if we can, change the color of it. So now let's look at this with it being enlarged. All right. And we want to enlarge this one as well, as it is also shown in its different color. And then go over, thank you all for the time, to show what happens when we don't think that Hebrew has grammar, as in conjugation, past, present, or future. Shabbat, Sabbath. Shin Bet Tal, Shin Bet Tal. Without understanding conjugation, you're going to read in Deuteronomy 30, and you shall Sabbath to the Lord your God, as opposed you shall return. The word Shabta means you returned. What Shabta means, and you shall return. We already went over how the wow makes the past tense future and the future past, right? The same letters are in Shabbat, Shin Bet Tal. See what happens when one, you say Hebrew has no vowels? Which leads to the understanding of saying that Hebrew, brothers and sisters, can never be conjugated. So in Exodus 20, we see Shabbat, Shin Bet Tal, and we see in Deuteronomy 30 about returning to the Lord thy God. Shabta, same letters. But the word Shabta comes from the root word shub, a verb meaning to return. Shabbat doesn't come from that verb shub. So brothers and sisters, if we will, all right, we want to highlight, if we will, this here. And brothers and sisters, showing with the pen Shabta, Ata Shabta, you returned. What Shabta? And you shall return. See the particular matter of Hebrew, and we can cite where we're getting it from in the Bible. Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 30. Without vowels, you cannot have conjugation. As we are saying, why conjugation is important. Without conjugation, you're not going to be able to understand the meaning of the scriptures. Israel, we have to step up our studies. Israel, as we step up our studies, we have to sit there and step up our ways. This does not make one righteous. Returning to the Lord thy God does. Keeping the Sabbath definitely does, because what the Shabbat, I can definitely say from experience, promotes is discipline. You know, not to just do anything at any given time. And it forces you to have to be accountable and responsible to a particular subject, a particular matter. You understand? So again, brothers and sisters, this is something we care to point out for reference purposes. That tie you see in the yellow there, brothers and sisters, circle there means the you part, and you shall return. That's why conjugation is important. Next part. Thank you for that. Why are vowels important? Result, Yikware Isha. Bezebak Hashlamim Ishe. This word is Isha, meaning wife or woman. This word is Ishe, meaning fire offering. Now, brothers and sisters, we can see, if we will, right, with the laser pointer, the aleph, the sheen, and the hay. 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 And actually, the sheen got that dot in it. It's called a dagesh. We'll explain upon that as we go along, if we will, okay? Well, I'll explain it now. Essentially, what the dagesh is saying is that it should be isha, ishe. That dot in it is saying to emphasize as if it's two different of two letters doubled in one. Isha, ishe. That's essentially what that dot within the letter is saying in that particular case. But brothers and sisters, right? Without vowels, how would you know the difference between a woman, isha, and a fire offering, ishe, if in Hebrew it has the same letters? The prudent man, the prudent woman, looking well to one's going, is in Proverbs. So yeah, there are educated books that say Hebrew has no vowels, but how much sense does that make? How much logic does that make? Just because it's written in a book that has truth in it doesn't make that statement true. Because this is why we went in the beginning of this to show what a vowel itself is for reference purposes, brothers and sisters. The brother said that he was feeling a little down. Well, thank the Most High, brother, that you're feeling up, and hopefully everybody as well. It will be better, my brother Dora and everybody else. But this just goes to show us here that Isha is woman, Ishe is fire offering. One you see in Genesis 2, the other you see in the book of Leviticus 3. And as the brother Yirmiyahu typed in, it don't make sense. And most things that don't make sense is because it's not true. Doesn't mean that everything is going to have to make sense to our mind, that we can't comprehend certain things. That's just what it is at that point as well. But it doesn't make sense, brothers and sisters, to sit there and say that, though I personally have even cited a source, a book called Understanding the Old Testament, Volume 3 by Bernhard Anderson, saying that Hebrew had all consonants and vowels were added later. That could be understood once you understand what a vowel is. It's a sound that's written. Aramaic, Arabic, Amharic, Ge'ez, cuneiform, all of that follows the same pattern of having, quote, no written vowels. Hebrew, the same way. But you're not going to go to an Arabian man and say nothing but and think he's going to sit there and say that that's correct. The book of Josephus speaks about how Hebrew sounded like Aramaic. Aramaic was the language that we see Laban and Rebekah speaking in the book of Genesis. From Padan Aram. The Arameans were the relatives of the Israelites. Even though Rebekah herself did come from the line of Arpachshad and not Aram, when you read in Chronicles. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out for reference purposes. Let's go on, brothers and sisters. The meaning of Reshit. Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, God created. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. So let's understand this. Reshit means the beginning. Why do I want to point that out? Because it doesn't mean a beginning. The beginning. Genesis 1, and here we see Reshit. Brothers and sisters, in Genesis 10, talking about Nimrod's kingdom. So Reshit, translated in Genesis 10 as the beginning, also serves as Reshit in Genesis 1, translated as the beginning. So it's not Genesis giving a creation beginning story, but the creation beginning story. And when you look at the different creation stories from Egypt, from Sumer, from Akkad, from Native Americans, from China, and this is no knock on anybody else's culture or people, the Hebraic one in the Tanakh, the so-called Old Testament, is the one that makes, in many cases, the most sense. When you begin to study a little bit about science and so on. So this is something we want to point out for reference purposes. Let's continue. The matter with laquak. I didn't want to close out doing live Hebrew presentations and not talk about this word. All right? Laquak. This word, laquak, in root means to take. When this word I'm only human, is conjugated, all right? When this word is conjugated in the future tense, the lamed drops out. Thus, when shown in a command form, the lamed is not there. I took la quakti. I will take a quack. Take quack. Take quaki. I wanted to show this with as much real time as possible, right? La quakti. And quack. Quack and quaki. What are we pointing out, brothers and sisters? I took is la quakti. That's said by a man or a woman, a boy or a girl. I will take equak is said by either gender, because you're speaking of self in this case. Take quack is command form to a male. Quaki is command form to a female. Any questions, please feel free to type it into the chat, brothers and sisters. All right? Let me write that out with the time allotted. All right, thank you for that, family. La quati means I took, said by male or female. And quack, I will take, said by male or female. Quack, said by anyone to a male. Quaki, sorry about that, said by anyone to a female. So as Mordei Mishael, brothers and sisters, may he rest in peace, my Hebrew teacher, when I was really getting into the language hard, I mean, we talking hard, But don't think that Hebrew is hard. One was just going hard with getting into it, brothers. So I want to emphasize that Hebrew's easy. All right. La quacti said by male or female. Et quack, I will take. So if you want to say I will take a bath, ani et quack rakatsa, I will take a washing. I will take a bath. Ani et quack karik, I will take a sandwich. That's said by a man or a woman. Now, if a man is saying he would take something that is a female, like the word susa, meaning a female horse or a male, he would say, ani ekwak susa. If a female's taking a male horse, she would say, ani ekwak sus. All right. Now, if you're a man or a woman, a male or a female, all right, speaking to a male, commanding one take, you would say quack. To a female, you say hoki. All right, so we can emphasize that. Now, why do we go over this one right here? The word nazar means in root to dedicate or to consecrate. Due to the fact of some misunderstandings in Hebrew, we want to get into this kind of matter. Nazar means en route to dedicate or to consecrate. Wa'ekwak, you see why we went over that earlier, right? Hanezer, and I took the crown, right? All right. Wanatata et nezer hak kodesh, and you shall put the holy crown. So these are actual citations from the scriptures, brothers and sisters. The word nazar, brothers and sisters, right, is translated as that which is dedicated or consecrated. Nezer is one of the words, as in the word keter, meaning crown. Wanatata, and you shall put, and you shall take, and you shall put, no, pardon me. Natata, and you shall put, or you shall give. Laquak, take. Natan, give. We'll work on that word another time, all right? Wanatata et nezer ha-kodesh. That's in Exodus. Now here we have, ki nezer Elohai al rosho. Ki nezer Elohai al rosho. Because the consecration of his God is on his head. Now nezer, we already pointed out, can mean crown. So if Nazar, brothers and sisters, and we want to emphasize the Nun, the Zion, and Noresh, right, is not to be interchanged with the Nun, the Zadeh, and the Resh. All right, let's show what we're talking about. The word Nazar, not to be confused with Nazar, means en route to guard, to watch, to keep, to observe. Sound like the word Shamar, right? Let's continue. Ki edoteka nazarati, for your precepts have I kept. That's in Psalms 119. Yitzarenu keishon eno, he kept them as the apple of his eye. That's in the book of, I believe, Zechariah or Deuteronomy. When it's there, Misharashal Yifre, and his sprout shall grow from his roots, and his sprout from his roots shall grow. Now, what was the point of going over that? Isaiah chapter 11 has the word Nazar, which we're going to show being circled here. All right, erase this, go over this with the pen. Nazar, we see, means in part sprout, not to be confused with Nazar. Isaiah 11, sidebar, is not a prophecy saying that one will be a Nazarene. Numbers chapter 5, pardon me, Numbers chapter 6, that speaks of the Nazarite is this word here, Nazar with the Zion. All right? And let's show what we're talking about. Circle there. In the red, on the top is on Isaiah 11. The word next to it in Isaiah 11 is not there. One is in Numbers about a Nazarite. One is in Isaiah about a sprout. Two different words, though they sound similar and spelt different. Let's continue with the time allotted. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for that. A chart put together. What do you think? Ah, Father. God, fortune. Hope, alas. Zak, to remove. Het, fits. Yaakov, to be able. Kol, each, every, or every. Man, what is. Sa, travel. Pots, disperse. Quarter, code. Shot, instead of. Now, what are we looking at here, brothers and sisters? Is the alphabet, Aleph Bet, Gamel Dalet, Hey Wow, Zion Ket, Ket Tet again, Ket used twice. All right. Ket Tet Yod, Kaf Lamed, Kaf Lamed used again on the right hand side. Kaf Lamed Mem Nun, Samek Ayin, Pei Zadeh, Kuf Re Shin Tav. That's the alphabet. I put this chart together. Just wanted to know what people, if you can take a screenshot, let me know what you think about it. All right. I'm not saying there's anything deep to it, but just something there to bring out to the people. Next slide. Thank you for that. Do not forget to get the books, Danitepublications.com. All right. Aleph and Bet. Remember, Hebrews read from right to left. Al Tish'u Liknot Hasfarim. Do not forget to buy the books. Hey, wow. Remember, Hebrews read from right to left. Do not forget to get the books. Al Tish'u Liknot Hasfarim. Again, Danitepublications.com, which is the website. Noon and Sheen. Ahabu. Hatebu. Kitbu, Wakil, Kfu. What does that mean? We'll get back to that. I wanted to, with the time allotted, brothers and sisters, and I think you all know it's getting a little later. It's after 9:30. I know people got school. I know people got work. But I do appreciate the people, brothers and sisters and elders, who take out the time, live or later on, who have supported the channel and do support it. Comment, like, and share, please. All right. What are we doing in this particular case here? Let's show. Aleph. All right. Prefix. Serves for ani. Ani or I am in verbs. First person is I, masculine or feminine. All right. Bet serves as a prefix, meaning in or with. All right, just want to point that out in real-time purposes. Next part, hey, which I call the thumb of the Hebrew alphabet. All right, serves as a prefix, meaning the. Serves as a prefix, meaning that. Or which. That's when you're dealing with present tense verbs. All right? in present tense verbs. Okay? Just want to point that out. While serves as a prefix, meaning and, be it a verb, an adjective, or a noun. All right? Serves as a suffix and showing plural in verbs. All right? Yod serves as a prefix in verbs, meaning he. Serves as a suffix in verbs, meaning they. No, sorry. Sorry about that. That's not accurate. Serves, I'm only human, as a suffix in nouns, meaning my, as in yadi, my hand, kipati, my hat. All right? Kaf. Just want to point that out for reference purposes. All right? Meaning he, or stands for he, should I say. All right? I want to make it the same size matter. All right? Kaf. I'll enlarge it in a second. Serves as a prefix, meaning like or as. All right? Serves as a suffix in verbs, meaning you. Ra'iti, I saw. It's a verb. Ra'itika, I saw you. We went over that earlier, right? Serves in nouns as a suffix, meaning your, yadka, your hand. So these are things, among others, we care to point out. Thank you all for the time and so forth. So we're going to enlarge it so it can be seen better and so forth. All right. Thank you for the time with that. Let's continue. Lamed. This becomes so important, and you begin to see, once we understand these things, how, again, Hebrew is easy. Lamed, all right, serves as a sub-prefix, meaning to or for. Mem serves as a prefix, meaning from or of. All right? Noon serves as a prefix in verbs, meaning we, or standing for we. All right? Sheen serves as a prefix, meaning that which is. This is how brother was able to say kwana, which means to acquire or to possess. Shakwana, a common name among sisters, is a Hebrew word. All right? Tau serves as a prefix, meaning or standing for you, masculine, singular, or she, which is obviously feminine singular. We went over that earlier, like tokal in that case. All right? The letters hey and the letter tau are feminine letters. Like, subscribe, and comment. Now, what does this mean here, brothers and sisters? Right? Ohabu, love, which is, because there's really no Hebrew way to say like. Like, I like this. Either you love or you hate. That's Hebraic thought. So, ohabu also means love, command form. Hak table, all right, will more so mean subscribe. All right. Keep the bull, comment, and share. So just want to, brothers and sisters, point that out. We're looking at this, color-coded, yellow. All right. Color-coded, yellow. Color-coded, so you can see it in real time as much as possible. Red. Color-coded for meaning, if we will. No, we're going to color code this one a little different, if we will. Let me do it. In that case, with that, keep the boo, comment, or more so write, if you will. We want to color code that one. Green. Thank you all for the time, family. Wakilaku, from the word kalak, which means to have your part or to share. All right, have it like that. And share. Wa, in that case, meaning and. See how easy Hebrew is? From slideshow, from the current slide, and we can see how that is and how that works out. Now we know how to say these things in Hebrew. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. Thank you all for that. Let's continue. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. The bulk of the presentation has concluded. We just want to present from a biblical standard what we're talking about. For then I will turn to the peoples a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yah to serve him with one consent. This is not saying that the Hebrew we see Zephaniah speaking and writing here on the right-hand side is not accurate. All right? That's not what that's saying. Ki as, we want to show with the laser pointer with the timing allotted, right? Thank you all for that. Ki as efok hafak, meaning what? To change. El ha'amim safa barura, a pure language, a refined language, a healthy language. Likro, to call, kulam, all of them to call, b'shem yod-heh wah-heh, in the name of the Most High. So we just don't say Baruch Hashem, meaning blessed be the name. What name are we talking about being blessed? All right? The Abdo, Shekem Echad, to serve him with one consent, to serve him with one mind. All right? Echad meaning one. Hosea 2, verse 18. And it will come to pass in that day, saith Yah, that they shall no more call me Ishi. Pardon me. Let me read that again. Hosea 2:18. And it shall come, and it shall be at that day, saith Yah, that they shall call me Ishi, and shall call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of the Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be mentioned by their name. For I will take away the names of the Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be mentioned by their name. Brothers and sisters, Zephaniah chapter 3, when it says the pure language, is speaking in collaboration with the prophet Hosea from centuries before Zephaniah about, if not, centuries easily, pardon me for saying that, because Hosea was before Isaiah, Isaiah and Jeremiah being the same time as Zephaniah was over 50 years apart. So it's easily 100 years or so between Hosea and Zephaniah. Being given a pure language is having the name of idols out of your mouth. That's what that's talking about right there, brothers and sisters, in Zephaniah. Get this book, subscribe to the channel. Want more information on why Hebrew got vowels and grammar? Get this book right here. It's available online. I charge $10. Amazon has it for less. Okay? So you can definitely get it if you want it. All right? Now, when I say I charge 10, here's what I found out with Amazon. If your book doesn't sell a lot, they will lower the price of it. Like if a record doesn't sell a lot, they will lower the price of it. So yes, I am asking people to go into your Cash App, to go into your MCU, to go into your Zelle, to go into your TD Bank, your Chase Bank, your Citibank, and any other kind of way in which you can outside of the Sabbath, and get this book right here, please. For those who are interested, and subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. What is Paleo Hebrew? Paleo, older or ancient, especially relating to geological past. That's what they call Paleo Hebrew. It simply is ancient Hebrew. That's really what the word paleo means. Paleo means ancient, just like the Hebrew word for ancient is atik. Let's continue, family. Thank you for the time. This is an example of it. This is part of the Shalom inscription that we spoke upon earlier in the presentation. All right? That right there is dated to the time of King Hezekiah. All right? Sheen, Lamed Sheen, Aleph Mem. Either a waw or a kaf. Lamed Hey. Noon. This is the kind of Hebrew writing that ancient Israel had. Let's continue, brothers and sisters, and this was found in the East. Classical Hebrew. What are we talking about in closing out? This is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Classical Hebrew is essentially defined as Hebrew that is speaking that is spoken during the time of the Maccabees and later. The Dead Sea Scrolls is part of that, even though it predates the time of the Maccabees. The writing form we already went over in slide 2, just so it to be a different written form, but the language is still the same nonetheless. Let's translate the words. Let's get back to this one, if we will. The matter of transliteration. Tiglath-Pileser, Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, Nebuchadnezzar, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. In the Hebrew class, we went over the kings of Israel and Judah, which you can get on the channel, Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. The elder whom you see there on the right-hand side is my Hebrew teacher, Kohen Mikael. I am 43 now. He became my Hebrew teacher over 30 years ago in the year 1992, when we was in the congregation Hashaba Yisrael. The first time, for those who are familiar with a maftir, is It's a portion in the Tanakh that's similar to the Torah portion. He was the one who conducted me in that. When Joshua 2 was being read, which coincides with the situation that happened in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, chapter 14. I give my Hebrew teachers, as well as any of my teachers on the human level, respect. Who, by the way, he wrote his own book. You may want to look on Amazon to get it. Kohen Mikael Ben Levi. All right? Tiglath-Pileser is truthfully said, his name is Tikul T Apil Ishera. Sennacherib, truthfully said as Sin Ahi Riba. Isaradon Ashur Aha Idina. Nebuchadnezzar. Nebukuru Razur. So when we say Tiglath-Pileser, that's a transliteration. Isaiah truthfully said as Yeshayahu. Jeremiah truthfully said as Yirmiyahu. Ezekiel truthfully said as Yakezquel. So we know the difference between translation and transliteration. All right, let's continue, brothers and sisters. Afro-Asiatic. Why will we go over this? Where's Hebrew on this? You want to show with the laser pointer. And this is Semitic, which should be Shemitic. Hebrew. Related to Geese. Under the Shemitic, obviously in truth. Matter. Under Afro-Asiatic, a branch being the Shemitic languages. Afro-Asiatic. Could that be from the Afir in the Latin signifying swarthy? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm standing to open constructive criticism. This is not Indo-European languages that we were going over. Everything we went over belongs to a people that you will call Negroes or blacks. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. Reach out, 908-587-4841. All right? Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Went over this matter of the Maccabees, Matthias. Going all the way down now, we're going to talk a little bit and closing out with this guy Herod of Esau, who was a friend to the Romans. He married into the house of the Levites. Esau always wanted Israel's portion. Herod the Edomite, the son of Antipater, married an Israelite woman named Mirame of the tribe of Levi. Brothers and sisters. And then this Edomite who married this Levite put her to death. So brothers and sisters, when we get into this particular matter, the point in this is because recently we did a presentation called Good Old Edom on the channel Mordeh Yeshaya History Lessons. There's going to be a part 2 to that. So stay tuned. Tune into the channel Mordeh Yeshaya History Lessons, brothers and sisters. All right? We ask you all to subscribe, comment, like, and share. We hope and pray that you all are well and will be better. We can be reached at 908-587-4841 or email YYISRAEL, the number 22 at yahoo.com. This is the last public free Hebrew class. If one is interested in a private Hebrew class, the contact information is above and across the screen, as you see there. Brothers and sisters, my telephone number there. You can reach out to me, that is by email as shown, or by WhatsApp, or by text, or by calling. We generally do not ask people for donations. However, we do ask you all to look in the description and buy a book that you care for yourself or a gift to another. And brothers and sisters, and giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. This presentation is concluded. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. We hope and pray that this was understood, respected, liked, and I am open for constructive criticism. What we're going to do now, brothers and sisters, in closing this out, is just take a moment of silence, thanking the Most High, and we're going to translate these words and close out. Thank you. Thus ends the presentation. These words that you see there are all in the masculine singular. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Brothers and sisters, I can be reached at 908-587-4841. 908-587-4841. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Shalom. Stay tuned for the presentation on November 3rd regarding the story of Solomon, Part 4, channel, Mordeh Yeshaya History Lessons. What my lady Sarah just typed in, Lala Tob Yisrael, Lala Tob means good night. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Reach out, check the description, support the brother. We hope and pray. A brother's been putting in time. This is not to be self-centered. For over 5 years, free Hebrew classes. I've never flagged one, even if I'm not part of said organization anymore, because it's from the heart and it's for the people of the Most High. So you don't be in your little baby feelings and take things from the people when you gave it in the name of the Most High to the people. Give thanks to Yah, hoping and praying again that everybody is well and will be better. Support the channel, comment, like, share. Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons is not going to be having Hebrew classes. But nonetheless, the Hebrew lessons on the channel go all the way back to 2018 with over 50 lessons on it. For those who are interested, Shalom. Stay tuned for more Yeshaya history lessons. 2 days from now, so-called Friday night, we intend to do a presentation on history regarding Solomon, king of Yisrael, and what happened with that. Shalom.